Good afternoon, Houston County teachers. We are so excited to have you on this live virtual training from our office. We are streaming, so we may run into a few technical difficulties, and we will try the chat today as we move throughout this training. My name is Megan Spigner, and I am one of your curriculum integration specialists. And today I have with me Larry Wadsworth, Lynn Hawkins, Kristen Honecker, and Michael Foss. And y'all, we are your team. We're here to support you. And today we have a lot of content coming in at you. We are going to be working on making slides interactive today. We're going to be going over creating YouTube content, advanced forms, Zoom, and virtual field trips. So hopefully you can find one thing today and take it and investigate it more, use it in some way. Know that we are going to record this session, but it will not go live to view until the end of the trainings we're conducting on Friday. We also plan on emailing y'all any resources that we are sharing today. And with that, we're going to move on into this training. We do have a few expectations for this school year that we need to share with you. And before Larry switches over to that, we need you to know that if it's the MAPS testing is not 2 weeks, it will be 4-week window, a 4-week window for the MAPS testing. So know that we do have that adjustment in there. And then once we look at the expectations, we'll hear from one of our very own Houston County teachers, Tiffany Caparelli, and how she used a combination of digital resources. And then we'll dive into the rest of the content. So we're excited, and here we go. Take it away, Larry. Here are our Houston County instructional expectations for this school year. All schools should administer MAP the first 2 weeks of school. No graded assignments should be submitted to tools such as ClassDojo and Edmodo. These tools should only be used for communicating messages and reminders to parents and students. Pre-K students do not have the option to participate in distance-only learning. Secondary content coordinators are creating Google Classroom lessons for middle and high school courses. Elementary content coordinators are creating lessons using Google Drive for elementary teachers to pull lessons into their Google Classrooms. If schools close after face-to-face school has started, the Teaching and Learning Department will provide schools with guidelines for instructional minutes and grading. Now we know this school year is going to look a lot different than normal. We'll have a blended learning model with our face-to-face teachers. If you're an elementary face-to-face teacher, you'll be required to use Google Classroom for a minimum of 1 to 2 times a week and use school-level online learning programs such as iReady, iStation, and Star Reading. For our middle and high blended learning teachers, you'll be required to use Google Classroom a minimum of 2 times a week and use school-level online learning programs. For our distance learning teachers at the elementary level, you'll deliver instruction through Google Classroom and video conferencing along with iReady. Our middle and high distance learning teachers will assign lessons through OdysseyWare and deliver support lessons through video conferencing. Should we start face-to-face and transition to online learning for school closing, teachers will use the plans described for face-to-face blended learning along with video conferencing support lessons. These are our Houston County instructional expectations for this school year.
Hi, my name is Tiffany Caparelli and I'm a 4th grade teacher at Langston Road Elementary. I just wanted to share something with you that I love doing in Google Classroom, and that's book clubs. In my classroom at school, my students always love to get together and talk about the books they had been reading in book clubs, and so I incorporated that into Google Classroom by using Epic Books, which is an online platform that's free for teachers, and it has tons of leveled books for students that are available online. I'll teach a mini lesson to my students, and then I would send them to breakout rooms virtually to meet together with the members of their book club. To guide their instruction, they would use a Google Slides activity that they would jot their thinking throughout the week as they read, and this also helps guide their discussions. My students always love to get together virtually to talk about the books that they had been reading. It really promoted that classroom community outside of the walls of the classroom.
All right. Good afternoon, Houston County. I am Larry Wadsworth, and we are going to get started into this today with some YouTube. But before I do that, I just want to reiterate something back from the expectations, and that is MAPS, you have the first 4 weeks, not the first 2 weeks. I know Megan also said earlier, I just want to reiterate it, be sure everyone's clear that it is 4, not 2. So in this advanced training, what we're going to look at to start here is how do you create content for YouTube as far as recording your screen and recording other things depending on what device are you on, how do you do it, and all those things. So that's what we'll be looking at these first few minutes. So the basics of this is simply going to youtube.com. You do need to ensure that you are in your account. Right here you can click on your initial and you see I'm at Larry Wadsworth at hcbe.net. Be sure you are in your account. That is critical. If you're not in your account, students are not going to have rights to those videos. And the end game of this, as far as making your own content to make it easy for students to access and to view, is simply clicking this little camera and clicking the upload button and adding the video into YouTube. So that's kind of the end of this. All right, so how do we get our materials created though so that we have a video to upload? So I'm going to go through 3 methods here, looking at if you're on a Windows computer, so maybe in your classroom, you could be taking advantage of having a smartboard or your interactive flat panel. How to use your phone, we'll talk about that briefly. And also, what if you have one of the Chromebooks and you're at home with one of the county issue Chromebooks, how can you use that to make recordings? So let's start with your desktop in your classroom. And what you have is this little red cloud called My View Board. So this is our whiteboarding software replacing Smart Notebook. And I can simply open this. And it may not be that I want to do whiteboarding with my students, but I need a way to record my screen, right? So in this software, there is this camera capture tool down here at the bottom. And you see a little camera icon. So you simply click that. You get this little toolbar up here, and you see because I have a microphone, it is popping. You see it going up, so I'll just mute that to be sure we don't have anything weird happening. But what's important to know, if you don't have a microphone, it's not capturing your audio, so be sure you have a microphone. You can do full screen or you can do an area, and then simply click the record button. It'll say, well, what definition? So there's partial HD or there's full HD. 1920 by 1080 is your true high definition. So we'll do that. Click check, and hold on. Actually, guys, it is recording on the other screen, so give me just a second to stop it and restart so we can select the right screen. So I'm clicking on this little square here. It was recording screen 1. I need to do screen 2. And this is what you should see when you start recording. It'll count down, 2, 1. And now anything I do on this screen will be recorded. I could be using the whiteboard software to record some example problems with the students, or I could have open a PDF and reading through a book or something with students, or or going over a quiz or something. Or I could be showing them a web page. So it doesn't matter what I do where, it will record it. And when I'm finished, on the little toolbar down here, we simply hit the stop button. My view board will then preview the video, and all you do is simply hit save. So I'll click that button, it's going to pop up. Well, where do you want it to save to? So why don't we just make this easy, and I'll save it to my desktop, give it a name called demo video so we can access it easy later. And you should see it pop up on desktop here in a second. But there we go. I'm going to close that out, and that's all there is as far as recording your screen on a Windows computer. And close this out too. So again, to do that, record our screen. So that's really nice and nifty if you're on your school workstation, right? So what are some alternatives? One thing that you can always do is you can use your cell phone, and you just take your cell phone and make your video, and then you can easily upload that video either to your computer or to Google Drive, and then from there we can get it into YouTube. Now, what's important to note here is depending on what phone you have and how your phone is set up, it could be very different. For example, if you're on an iPhone, are you saving your video onto the phone, or are you using the Apple iCloud and your video is being uploaded to the cloud? So if that's the case, you're going to have to go on your computer and download the video and then upload it to YouTube. So those kind of specifics can vary from person to person. But again, you can always just use your phone to record. So what about maybe you don't have anything in particular, but you have one of the district Chromebooks? So let's switch over from this Windows machine to a Chromebook real quick. All right, so here we are. This is one of the district Chromebooks, and it's really easy to record on here. If you want to actually record, there is a built-in camera. If you click on this little circle down here, and you just type in the word camera, there you see the little camera app, and y'all, all it's going to show you is the wall, but I will open it up real quick. So here's the camera app. You do see there's a video option. So I could make a video recording with this and it would save it straight into my Google Drive. So if you wanted to use the camera on this to record or even take photos, you can do that. Remember that too when you're teaching your kids about Google Classroom and how to upload assignments. If they have a Chromebook, they can use the camera app to take a picture of their work and then upload it. But what if you want to record your screen on a Chromebook? We have an option for you. Simply go to myviewboard.com. So myviewboard.com, much like we just looked at the desktop version of this application on the Windows computer, there is an online version as well. So it's going to pop up right here. So here's myviewboard.com. We will click sign in. Sign in with Microsoft. Don't click sign in with Google, sign in with Microsoft. We are a Microsoft district. And from there, it'll simply take you, type in your school email address, and just go through the prompts. We're a work or school account. It's going to take it through single sign-on real quick, and then it'll take us into myviewboard.com's website. This method will also work on a Windows computer, so just know that and on a Mac computer as well, you can use this online version here that I'm about to show you. So now that we're logged in, we have this thing right here called Classroom. There's Whiteboard and there's Classroom, and try not to get them confused. Classroom just has a few additional features. So I'm going to click on Classroom, and what's really neat about this, on my Chromebook, I now have an online whiteboarding software that includes a screen recorder. So we still see it still loading, and as soon as it loads here, I will show you. Uh-oh. I'm getting an error. If it's going to crash on, I might have to, let's see, we'll let it try one more time. If it don't work, we will show you on the other machine real quick. Nope, there it goes. All right, so here we are. We're in here. We have an online digital whiteboard. I've got my pens. I can write on it. But really what's important is up here at the top here's our camera. So we want to say record your screen. This will say, what do you want to record? I want to say entire screen. Hit share. And we're going to allow if you want it to capture your audio. So this is important. If you want to capture your voice, be sure you click allow if you have a microphone. I'm not worried about that here in this example though. So you see it starts blinking. You notice the little pop-up said you have 60 minutes. Hopefully you're not making a 60-minute lesson video for your kids. Mini lessons, 10, 15 minutes tops is more than enough. And so it is recording everything I do. I do not have to stick within this app. I can open up a new tab and take them to another website. Or if I have another application on this laptop that I want to show them, I can do that as well. When I'm finished, I click the little record button again, and it says, oh, what do you want to do with it? Easiest option here is to upload to your Google Drive. It'll take it a second, and boom, so it says it's been saved to myviewboards/uploads. So let's go into our Google Drive real quick. So it said myviewboards/uploads is where this file was saved. So let's see if we can find it. So look for your myviewboard folder. Here it is. We'll double click it and open it up. And here's the uploads folder. Double click it. And look, here's the video that I just made, and of course one from earlier as well. So it saves them right here. They're all date and time stamped. Is what those numbers represent. So once we have them here, let's go open up YouTube. Now one thing I will tell you about is when you're uploading a video to YouTube, if it's in your Google Drive, that's no problem for a Chromebook. But if you're on a Windows computer, you're going to have to download it from your Google Drive first onto your computer and then upload it to YouTube. So it's kind of a two-step process there. But we'll show you that in a second. So click the little video, upload video. It's going to spin for a minute, and once the little window pops up, we'll be able to find that video in our Google Drive to upload it. So here we go, select files, and this is just like we just did. We're going to browse to my view board, Google Drive, my view board, and then uploads. And here's our video. So we could select one. Here's the one today from just a couple minutes ago. Hit open. It's going to upload, and then it has 3 pages of options that you have to click through. The first one is give it a title. You don't have to worry about giving it a description unless you want to. If you want to put it on a playlist, you certainly can. If you want to create a new playlist, simply click new, call it Demo 2. Do you want it to be public, private, or unlisted? In general, we say stay away from private because you can only add so many people to access that. We like unlisted, so if they don't have the link, they can't find it. So here I just created a new playlist. I can actually put it on 2 different playlists if I'd like to, or more. You want to mark that yes, it's made for kids. And then we go to next. On this second screen, there's nothing you can do. You just skip it. So we really like the second screen because it's just click next and move on. Finally, visibility, again, we kind of hit this already, but we like it unlisted. Public means that they can actually search and find it, but unlisted means if they don't have the link, they're not going to be able to see it. And keep in mind, the way you're going to be sharing these with students is you're going to be putting them on assignments or in quizzes within Google Classroom. So you're going to be linking them there for students to access. So once we do that, we simply hit save, and this little window will close. A new one will pop up, says, hey, it's going, and boom, here's where the link will be. So I'll close that out, and we're going to jump back to the Windows screen really quick. So give me just a second to switch over. All right, so here we are back on Windows. We're going to go back into YouTube, and I want to show you how to find that video we just uploaded. I'm going to click on my initial, again, be sure I'm signed in with my school account, and I'm going to go to YouTube Studio. On the left-hand side, I have videos. And here is where all of my videos are. And right here is that video that I just uploaded. So to get the link, I can simply click right here, and I can grab that link from the top of the screen. And so there you see it was recording my Chromebook just a few minutes ago that easily. So you can do recordings on your Chromebook, you can do recordings on your phone, you can do them on your computer. And just remember to upload a video. Let's go back to just normal YouTube real quick. We simply click on the camera, click upload video, and since we're on a Windows computer, we'll say select the file. Instead of, if y'all remember, I think I saved it to my desktop earlier. I must not have clicked on desktop, maybe on my other desktop. Let's see, let's just go here to videos. So here's a video, click open, and then it takes you through the exact same screens we just saw. Always be sure that you mark it that it's safe for kids. That's the most important thing in all this. And again, our recommendation is to always make them unlisted. Private, you have to add individual accounts for them to view it, and you're limited on the number. And I forget exactly what number it is, but it's pretty low. So I won't finish uploading that video. So a couple of things to note, and this is very, very important when creating content. YouTube is strict about copyright. Don't have music playing. If you're playing the latest pop songs in the background or whatever, YouTube's going to pick up on that, and they're going to give you a copyright strike, and after a few of those, they cancel your channel. So be sure you are being very aware of anything that you could possibly be putting in there that is copyrighted. You're pulling stuff from teacher pay teachers. Some of that may be copyrighted. I would not be putting that in a YouTube video that you're putting up online. Another thing is, remember, anything that you record should never have students in it. So if you record it, don't let there be any students. But I hope you see here that, regardless of the device you have, there's a way to record your screen and that you can capture it, and then YouTube is where you can upload that so that you can then, in Google Classroom, easily use the Insert YouTube Video button, whether it's on an assignment, in the stream, or even in a quiz, and access those. And we're going to be doing some of that here in a few minutes with slides and in forms, so you can see that. The last thing I want to show you in YouTube is, don't forget, whenever you upload a video, or maybe you're just, and I'll go back to normal YouTube here real quick, maybe you just want a video for students, We'll do chill out music. You have to click the approve button. If you don't click approve, they will not have access to it. So don't forget to click that approve button. All right. Let's see, give me just a second. Let's go. All right, at this time, I'm going to pass it over to Miss Lynn Hawkins and Miss Megan Spigner, and they are going to start showing you some really cool things with Google Slides. So sit tight.
Good afternoon. I'm Lynn Hawkins, and I'm going to be working with Megan, and we're going to be talking about working in Google Slides. We don't want your slides to be just your usual humdrum slides. We want them to be like hyperdocs, hyper templates. We want them to be interactive, and so I want to show you some examples before Megan goes through how to actually make one. And I found several, so I made some folders. So I'm going to show you a couple examples from ELA. And the first one I'm going to show you is the one dealing with poetry. I liked it. It was very eye-catching. And they're actually dealing with Adobe Spark. Not real sure about that, but I do know that it says you can watch this video and it'll actually read to you. You click on it. And I don't know if we're going to have sound or not. We shall see. ELA. Just a little bit.
My sister. Poetry, like words from the books.
And they're actually dealing with Adobe Spark. Not real sure about that, but. So you see it'll read to you. That's pretty nice. Let's see if we click forward. Here's another way to make it more interactive. You can actually put a link there, a hyperlink, and it'll take you to a poetry site. And I don't know if you caught the directions. I was kind of moving quick there. It says find one of these poems that you like, see if you can pronounce all the words, and basically memorize the poem, and you can recite it back. And that's kind of cool. Here's a whole bunch of different poems down here, and you could click on one that you're interested in. And Poor Old Lady, that sounds like a good one for me. And you go there, and you can see the poem, you can practice it, make sure you can read all the words. This is obviously for younger kids and younger students. But this is so, I like it, so eye-catching, it's so interactive, and it really keeps the students involved. It has a place too, it says on here, where you could actually get them to videotape themselves, maybe reading the poem, and then they could actually click to watch their other students reading their poems as well. Okay, Larry's laughing. Let's see, another one that I liked was the Goosebump one, and I like this. Former middle school media specialist, so of course I would like this. And who doesn't like goosebumps or scary stories? With this one, I really liked, like I said, the graphics. They kind of jumped out at you. And it had a video. And I'll kind of make this, because you won't be able to hear, because it'll get feedback from me. But I want you to just kind of look at the cat's eyes. I'm more of a dog person. Kristen likes the cats. So no, she didn't pick this video out. I did. But I just want you to see this cat is actually watching like a scary story, and if you can see the cat's eyes, I really never thought about their eyes dilating or enlarging as they got. I just thought that was really neat, and makes it more interactive for the kids. You jump down here, and it said you're asking your kids, what makes you jump with fright? What makes your heart rate race? What gets you spooked? And then you can get them to, I like this part too, explore the following 2-sentence goosebump story samples. And then they can just read through a couple of these, and then at the end it actually says, hey, okay, now you craft a 2-sentence scary story. So, and the backgrounds, like I said, I'm all about some graphics, and I like it that it's eye-catching. I like it too that it's interactive. I love that video part where, you know, showing the animal. Who knew that they got scared like that too? But they do. And let's see, another one that I saw that I really like, we back up one here, former math teacher, is I found one on measuring angles. This one was really cool, and I thought Larry would like it too. It actually came with a protractor. It starts off telling you how to use your protractor. And then the next slide, you can actually take the protractor and you can put it right on top of the angle and measure the angle with the protractor. And if Miss Ogletree was in here, she'd be disappointed with me that I didn't get it exactly right. She was my geometry teacher at Northside back in the day. Sorry, Miss Ogletree, to call you out like that. But anyway, and you can measure the angle, and because we're starting over here and I'm going from right to left, I'm going to use the bottom numbers from 0, and it looks like it's not quite 120. So then the student can click over here in the box and they can say like maybe 118 degrees. But you can do that with each one of these slides, and they have acute angles and some obtuse angles. And I didn't see any right angles in here. I like this one too. This one had like 2 different angles, so you could ask them to measure each one of those. And you're probably asking, well, how can they turn the protractor around? Well, don't you worry. Up here at the top, it has a little button or pull down where you can actually rotate that protractor to where you want it to go. And then the best part of this was, this is like the take it home. They asked the kids to go out and actually find, either use your camera, take a couple pictures and find some stuff with angles in it, or go out on the web and find some things that have some angles and then measure those two. Outline them first. I like how it said that. Outline the angles and then measure them. So that's definitely making it more interactive and making it a hyperdoc. And the last one I wanted to show you that was very interesting, since we are in a election year, was the one that was, and I noticed that we have this one too. It was listed on our single sign-on. It was iCivics. Well, anyway, this particular one, if I can find the link down here, here it is. It talked about, click on the link below. Bet you can't beat the 365 electoral votes that I got in 2008. And there's Obama. He's doing the drop mic. Like, yeah, good luck with that. But anyway, and then right here, you can actually click and go to this website. This is super neat. And like I said, I didn't know we even had this. So, of course, I didn't teach social studies, so of course I wouldn't know that we had this one. But anyway, you can build your own avatar. You can tell them, no, I don't want to do that. Build your own avatar. So basically, you can build your own president. And you can say what your platform is, if you're a Democrat or if you're a Republican, what grade you're in. You can start there. Let's start with I'm a young person. And you can also do your campaign. Here's where you're going to build your character. And you can pick your issues, and then you get to actually go out and do a debate. I mean, this sucker is so cool. And I just thought that was like really, really neat, especially since, like I said, this is the election year. But that is taking like a regular, which used to be PowerPoint, now we're using Google Slides, just a regular slideshow, and just, what do you call it? Making it interactive. Imping it up. Up the ante is what Megan says. I don't know if you heard it from across the room, but I mean, it's just taking it up a notch. And I really like the graphics, and it's, the kids will too. Think about, I mean, this generation, they are so used to, something that's a little, they watch YouTube, TikTok, and all kind of stuff all day long. So, don't just make your lessons just plain Jane. Give them some interactivity there, and make them snazzy. How about that? That's a good word, snazzy. But now Megan is going to kind of walk you through how to actually make one of these hyper templates in Google Slides. And so I'm going to turn it over to Megan if she's ready. She's nodding. She's giving me a thumbs up.
Alrighty, y'all. I'm super excited. Lynn's saying, here's Megan. All right, y'all. First of all, how awesome were those examples? So many of you are typing in the chat and just telling us how much you love those. We are going to share those examples, like I said, at the end of our trainings on Friday. And let's actually do some of this, right? Let's take a couple of seconds to think about this. So I know a lot of you have been wanting editable PDFs. Some of you may want to create a workspace for your kids and then be able to upload different things within Google Slides, or maybe you want a timer on your slide or different things. So I'm going to try to hit as much as I can during this time that we have together. And here we go. So to access slides, you can do it a couple of ways. I hope that y'all know you can do it through Google Classroom, right, and build it through there. However, you can come over here to your waffle in the right-hand corner and click on the grid and then click on slides. All right, so that's one way. The other way is if you are super organized and you want to go back and watch our basic training from this morning, we covered Google Drive. You can access Google Slides within Google Drive. So you can come over here to the left-hand corner and click New Google Slides, or you can come over here into this white space and right-click and click Google Slides again. Now, my favorite way to open a Google Slide is to open a new tab up at the top, or you could say Control-T. And I'm going to type in slides.new. This is so cool. It'll open a new slides right there for you, all right? So type in the chat, which way do you open slides? I want to see it. Slides.new, do you go to the waffle, or do you go to your drive? Type in the chat, let me know how you plan on opening a new slide today. All right. So I know I have a little bit of a delay with this streaming, so I'm gonna kind of see that come through in just a second. Alrighty, so I have a new slide. So a couple of things right here. You need to really set up your Google slide. Oh, there it goes, waffle. I like me some waffles. All right, cool. I'm seeing that come through now. All right, so a couple things. You can set your theme as soon as you pop in here. So maybe you have a theme that you like in here. I can come in here and click on one of these and say that's the theme I want. I am going to start off with a blank slide because we're going to talk about how to take a PDF and make it editable. That is the very hot topic of the day, I think. So we're going to come in here, and I have a blank space, but a lot of our PDFs are, you know, portrait, not landscape. So how do we fix that? I'm going to come up here to the left-hand corner and click File, and I'm going to come all the way down towards the bottom and go to Page Setup. Now, right now it's set to widescreen. I'm going to come down here to the bottom where it says Custom, and I'm going to change the dimensions, and the dimensions you need is 8. And I would say 11.5, but we'll do 10. 8 by 10 inches, and I'm going to click Apply, that yellow button. So now I have a nice portrait view to work with. Now, naturally you may think, oh, okay, let me put in a picture of my PDF in here. So let's say I come in here, and there's lots of different ways to insert images, y'all. This is very similar to PowerPoint, where you can click on any of these menus and click Insert Image. I like using these little buttons up here, but I'll show you a couple ways today. All right, we're gonna click Insert at the top, and I'm gonna come down here to Image, and I'm gonna roll over here to Upload from Computer. So I'm going to find my little screenshot that I've taken, and I'll talk to y'all about screenshots in a little bit. And I have put my screenshot in here. So this is a PDF a picture, a snapshot of it. I used the snipping tool on my Windows device. So I've got that. So if I come in here and I start adding stuff to this, what's going to happen to this image? It's going to start moving around when your kids get in here, and then they're going to be like, I messed up. Oh my goodness. So what I want y'all to think about when you're talking about making a PDF editable, I don't want you to just insert an image. Okay, I'm going to show you the best practice for it. We're going to come, instead of insert image, we're going to come here and make it the background. So I'm going to click on background, and I'm going to choose my image. Again, I can upload from my computer, or I can pull it in from Google Drive. Let me go ahead and browse from my computer. And I don't need the PDF, I need the snapshot, the picture of it. I'm gonna click open. And then I'm gonna click done. So now when I come in here, I can't move that picture, right? So now I get to start adding to it to make it an editable thing, an interactive thing for your kids. So the very first thing I would probably come in here and do is start adding text boxes. So up here you can do it too. Remember y'all, you can do it multiple ways. So I can say insert text box, and let's say I want to add a title. So I want to give my kids lots of space. Now I could just leave that text box there, but when your kids go to do it, they're going to think, oh, what am I supposed to do? I don't see what I'm supposed to do. So I'm going to come in here and kind of give them an easier way to view it. So I'm going to click on that text box and edit the border of it. So I'm going to come over here. So notice how it's selected in blue. And let's say I want to fill the color of it. Maybe I want to make it a nice little green. And then maybe I want to give it some border weight so they can really see that they need to put that in there. And this is going to take some training, y'all, with your kids to teach them. So I recommend maybe doing this in a computer lab setting, or if you have the laptop cart for the day, or even you may need to train like five students that know what they're doing. You train those 5, and then when you are doing a tech lesson like this, when you're first getting started, maybe have those 5 leaders help you with all the other kids in your classroom. All right, so I've got that text box. You could even go as far as adding a text in there. So type here. Now I could keep going. I could continue to add text boxes, but I like to work smarter, not harder. And I'm going to select that text box, and I'm going to say Control C on my keyboard. And now I'm going to say Control V. And when I do that, I now can just duplicate what I've already set up. So I am going to maneuver the little nodules again and make it a bigger space. So I've got 2 text boxes on here, and now my kids know how to type in here. Now I might want to change the formatting. Can anyone tell me how I change the color? Type it in the chat. Tell me how to change this color. Maybe I want it to be a different color. Can I lock the text box so it cannot move? Let me come right here. Let's see. I don't believe you can. I don't believe you can. Now what's really cool about this though, Laura George, I can have the answers. Y'all could even do this. You could have the answers over here to the left and have different text boxes over here. Maybe you already have the answers or like a word bank already created to the side for your kids. And you can actually have them move it to where it goes. So this may, and you could even do this with pictures. So I may want to have, let me put this back so y'all can see. Let me put this back. Let's see. Put that back there. All right, so maybe I want them to do like a sequencing event. I'm going to come up here, and remember I can say insert image, and let's do search the web. So yes, fill the color paint, change the fill color. Cool, y'all answered my question. So I'm going to come up here to image, search the web, and maybe I want, let's see, I like Mercy Watson. Pig. We'll do Mercy Watson Pig. And maybe it's a story or something. I could do anything, y'all. Let's just take this chameleon. So I can drag and drop the image in here, or I can select the image and click insert. So we'll be using that feature a lot in just a second. So I can even have like the template that I want in here, and I could have different images to the side. Maybe this happened in the middle, maybe this happened at the end. So you can kind of see how your kids could interact with that with creating those editable PDFs. All right? Cool, cool, cool. All right, so that's kind of a PDF, an editable PDF. But let's say you want to actually create maybe a different workspace for your kids. So I do have something already prepared. I'm going to bring this over. So we've got editable PDFs, and we also have the idea of a choice board. I think Lynn showed you some really good examples of how kids can interact with different things outgoing from the slide that they're working in. So maybe you want to start off with a choice board. So this is something that I have created, and we're going to again share this with y'all in just a minute. Y'all are going to get to actually try some of this in just a moment. Let's show you. So right now I had all of this set up. So I can select anything and I can duplicate it. So I'm going to delete this for a second. And let's say that I wanted to, again, copy something and duplicate what I already have. So when you're building a choice board, you really want to make sure you think about your template. So I am going to drag and copy everything that's in there. And I'm going to say Control D instead of Control C. And now I have my choice board, looks the same, feels the same. I'm going to delete that so y'all can, I'm going to delete that again, delete that, delete that, delete that. So Control Z is how you can undo things too. So you have your undo, redo buttons up here. So you can duplicate things as well. So maybe I want to duplicate this whole slide. Or maybe I want to add a slide, that's your little plus button. I think y'all are pretty advanced, so y'all probably understand that. So what if I want to create multiple ones of these? I'm going to select the slide and say Control D. All right, so now let's go ahead and start linking some of this. So I do have some links already over on my other screen, and maybe I want to link a picture. So I could link the picture, or I can come in here and link the whole box. So in order to link a picture, I'm going to click on the quizzes and see how it's selected in blue. I'm going to come over here and Control C, and by come over here, I'm on my other screen, y'all getting that URL. And I'm going to click on my quizzes icon. And there's a couple ways you can insert a link. Again, I've been using this insert menu, and I'm going to come down here to link, and I'm going to just Control V that link and click apply. So now when my kids come in here, they can click on this, this icon and say, oh, I need to go to this link. I can choose, maybe your kids choose 3 things in the computer lab that day that they need to get accomplished. So come in and click on the link. All right, but let's say your kids don't click on the actual icon. You can actually create a text box over the entire box. So this typing one, I'm going to create a text box. I'm not even going to put anything in that text box. And I'm going to go grab my other URL. I'm going to copy it. And then notice how my text box is still selected. And I'm going to come in here, and maybe I want to right click this time and link it that way. And I'm going to Control V to paste and click apply. So now you have a couple of outgoing links that your kids can click on and kind of do some of the things that Lynn was showing y'all earlier with those choice boards. All right? Okay, so far, which one is your favorite, the choice board or the editable PDF? Tell me in the chat, which one is your favorite so far? Because I've got one more for you. Choice board, Lynn. All right, so let's try some of this. So I am going to ask you a couple of things. So first of all, I'm going to drop a link in the chat where you will get a template of this computer lab choice board. Okay, now you may want to go and try the PDF option. You can choose, so you would either say slides.new in your new tab in your browser, or you can take my link that I'm about to drop in the chat for you to give it a try. So, and I'm going to give y'all maybe 10, no, not 10, not 10, y'all. We don't have time for 10. I'm going to give you like 2 minutes to try one of the things that I have taught you so far. All right, here it comes. Here it comes. Here's and y'all, last time we did this, there was an overload of how many people wanted that choice board template. So don't all choose the choice board template. No, I'm just kidding. All right, Larry's gonna put a 2-minute timer on. We're golden. Hey Trish Peters, I see your comment, your question actually, about making sure each student has their own. You would, in Google Classroom, you would make sure that you select make their own copy. Make a copy for each student. I hope that answers your question. Yes, thank you, Christina Cannon. Yeah, so Nicole, maybe try to, and y'all, I promise you we'll send out these templates that we're sharing. We will, I promise, we'll share those. Maybe go back out and go back into that choice board and see if you can get it. You should have seen a make a copy button, so now you all have your own copy of that. It's kind of a cool thing, and I can show y'all how to make that. All right? Cool, cool, cool. All right, so y'all are loving the PDF, so I think I've got a few seconds left. Did anyone try something? Did anyone try the, what did you try? Did you try an external link, or did you try the PDF? What did y'all work? So I'm about to talk to you about linking a little bit more. I know I kind of been going a little fast, so we'll talk about that in just a second. Cool. Okay. All right, y'all. So I am going to go ahead and move into my next one. So this one's a little bit more. All right, y'all ready for this? Here it comes. So this is an idea that I've seen done before, and I actually have to give a shout out to my primary people. They kind of gave me this idea, and so we're going to take it up a notch with this idea. So y'all, if your first graders can do this, anyone can do this, okay? So this is another choice board, and this is kind of the idea behind this is to give students one assignment that they can work through instead of multiple assignments. Now that might not work for everyone. This is just an example. So I do kind of want to talk to you about how to make some of this. So again, this is a template. I don't know if y'all see my little boxes here. That's something that I created, and then I can use this over and over and over again. You could even have Google Slides, like a Google Slides template, and let me show you how cool this is, okay? So I'm going to import a template. So I'm going to come up to the left-hand corner to my File button, and I'm going to say Import Slides. So maybe I want to import a slide that I have already used before, and see I've got my choice board template right here. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to click Select in the lower left-hand corner. And now it's going to import whatever slide I want from that Google Slides deck. So I'm going to click on my first one and say import slides. So you can add different slides into, like if you have a bunch of different slides, you can add those easily into, it kind of reminds me of Google Forms, honestly. So just know you can go to File in the left-hand corner and say Import Slides. All right? So I'm going to delete that. And we're going to talk about this choice board. So I've got I've got a box for each subject and external linking. So I know I saw in the chat where someone said that they want me to go back over that again. So I have set this up and I will share this with y'all. I have a text box over the shape. So I just did a few circles and numbered them, and now I want to link it. So I might need a math. Maybe I've created a lesson like Larry showed you in my view board, and I want to link it to one of my, and I'm just going to grab one of my, let's see, I'm just going to grab a lesson, a little Control C, and I've highlighted this text box. And again, I'm going to link it. So maybe you've created a My View Board lesson and uploaded it to YouTube. Maybe you have found a Learn Zillion lesson. And actually, I'm not going to do math. Let's come over here. Maybe I have a Learn Zillion lesson that I'm using. I'm going to click Insert Link, and I'm going to paste it. And click Apply. So maybe I want my kids to come in here, and that video, that YouTube video that you've created that lesson in, the kids would come in here and they would click on that. They'd go watch that video or whatever you've asked them to do. And then a lot of you had the issue of having kids upload things or have a way to share their work with you. I know I've heard a lot of teachers say, well, they were sending it to me through Class Dojo or they were sharing it through email. Well, give your kids a space to upload those things, to upload pictures or videos or whatever you're asking them to do. So I would say, okay, I have this video, and then I'm going to go down here to my reading and turn it in for that first lesson. So I might have my kids, I might have directions right here for them to actually upload their work. And y'all, this is something you're going to have to teach your kids too. But how cool would it be if they watched that lesson and then you told them, hey, turn your work in. And by turn your work in, I mean submit like the picture within the Google slide. They're still going to have to, when you upload this to Google Classroom, you're still going to have to have them click that turn in button, okay? So I have some outgoing links. We've talked about that. Remember, a text box over whatever, or click on the image and just link it. But let's do some really cool advanced stuff where you actually have your kids go in between slides easily. So I'm going to highlight the text here. I'm going to highlight this text in the reading box. And I want to link it. So I'm going to click the Insert Link icon, or I can come over here to my menu and click Link. And every time I've actually pasted something in the link box, however, right below it, it says slides in this presentation. All right? I'm going to click on the slides in this presentation, and I'm looking over to the left at my my storyboard over here, really, and I'm looking to see, well, where's my reading turn-in spot? So that's slide 4. I don't know if y'all can see that. That's kind of a little challenging. So I'm going to come down here and click on slide 4. And I'm going to click Apply. All right, I'm going to do that step again. Y'all could use this with any grade level. All right, so let's say I want my writing to go to a specific spot, my kids to turn in 3 days of work for writing. I'm going to, again, highlight that text, and this time I'm going to right-click over it and click on Link. And then I'm going to click on slides in this presentation. And again, y'all, I'm looking over to the left and looking at my slide deck, looking at what, okay, number 5 is my writing. Slide 5 is writing. So I'm going to click slide 5 and click Apply. All right. Again, I'm going to come over here to math. Let's link math. I'm doing this a few times so that y'all can see this. Highlight the text, And my math turn-in spot is slide 3 over here to the left. And I'm going to click link, click on slides in this presentation, click slide 3, and click apply. So now when your kids come in here and they're viewing this, they can come and say, okay, turn in work here. Okay, I'm going to go to slide 3, day 1, day 2, day 3. This is where I would share my work. All right. All right, cool. So I know I kind of went through that a little fast. Again, y'all, this video is going to be recorded and shared. All right. Now, a couple of other things I want to share with you. Maybe you want your kids to have I'm going to come over here. Let me see. I'm going to come over here to my social studies turn-in spot, and maybe I have a video I want them to actually watch. So forget the choice board for a second, and let's pretend that this is just a regular, good old interactive slide. Let me show you how to put a slide in here. So maybe you want them to do, let me come in here and add some text. I'm going to say text box. So I clicked on the little T text box. T stands for text. And it's remembering my formatting. So I'm going to say, first, I thought, ... and you would have them finish that sentence. And I don't like that border, so I'm going to take that border off real quick. Actually transparent. So first I thought, and then again, y'all, working smarter, not harder. I'm going to say Control C. I'm going to click on my space 2, Control V. And I'm going to drag and drop it. I love the drag and drop, those mouse skills for your younger kids. Okay, now watch this. And then again, I'm going to say Control C, come and say Control V. And now I think, ... Okay, so I know this doesn't look the best, but so what do I want them to watch? Y'all, you can actually embed, instead of having kids go outbound and have YouTube links in here and clicking on pictures, you can actually embed a video right here in Google Slides. So I'm going to come up here to the insert menu up in the left-hand corner, and I'm going to say video. I'm going to scroll down to video. And y'all, this is where you can search for something. I definitely think when you do this, you need to preview the video. You need to make sure it's approved. That's what Larry just taught you. And so I'm going to click on, and I could actually snag the URL instead of searching in here. So there's a couple ways you can do this. I'm going to click this first video. It's blue, select. And now that video is popping right in here on this Google slide. So I'm going to kind of move it around a little bit, resize it by dragging those little blue nodules. And now when I have my video selected, over here to the right, and I can't remember if this was asked earlier or not in this session, but you can start the video at a certain point. So maybe you don't want your kids to watch the whole thing. I'm going to say 5 minutes. Start at 5 and then end at 5:35. I can mute the audio, or I can say autoplay when presenting. And then I would just go ahead and say autoplay. And then that should be it. So now when your kids come in here and I'm presenting, it'll start at that 5-minute mark. Okay, you could use that in a couple of different ways. They should be able to view it right here without going to presenter mode as well. All right, cool. So I'm going to pause that. So that's how you insert a video. Now, another question we've gotten is, how do you add audio to some of this? So there's a couple of ways. You could create a YouTube video that's just a black screen and add your voice that way. Or you can say, up in the left-hand corner, again, I'm wearing this insert button out. You can say insert audio, and I actually have some audio saved to my Google Drive. And it's just an audio file, and I'm going to select it, And now I get this little megaphone button. So maybe you want them to listen to just this audio file, and you would have to teach your kids to come in here and click play. All right, so this insert button is going to be your best friend. The link button is going to be your best friend when you're doing some of this. Another thing that I want to share with you, you can add additional notes down here at the bottom. Some of the examples that Lynn shared had extra directions down here. So that would be a good use of that. All right, so far, are we good in the chat? Are we good in the chat, y'all? All right, cool. So now I'm going to show you how to actually, maybe you've built this awesome lesson or you've built this awesome choice board or whatever it is. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. I see this question in the chat. Can you link to another slide document that is in an assignment as well? If so, would they be able to turn it in using this method? Katrina Tiller, I think I'm understanding that you are asking if you link this slide to an assignment. So you can link, like I could take a PDF that's in my Google Drive, but I would recommend you, like if you want your kids to work within this slide and then have an extra assignment. So I know, like I had some mouse skills practice earlier in one of our sessions, I would have to upload that separately to that assignment, okay? I hope that answered your question. If not, just let us know. All right, so I want to share, maybe I want to share this with you, give you a moment to kind of work with it. So maybe you're going to, at this point, I want you to maybe link the science or the social studies or the extra to the corresponding slide, or add, maybe you want to take a picture and insert a different picture, make it your own, okay? So I'm going to try to show y'all this, and I want y'all to try it out, all right? So how did I get that make a copy button with the earlier template that I shared with you? This would be really good to use as a teacher if you're sharing work with each other. I'm going to come up here to this share button. And again, y'all, you may get that restricted, like too many people, too much traffic on it, but be patient with us and we'll just keep trying it. So down here at the bottom, I clicked the share in the upper right-hand corner, and now I get this menu. I want to change restricted, and I want to change it to anyone with Houston County. Y'all actually may have another option in this menu where it says anyone with a link. So anyone with a link means really anyone. Houston County means just people in our network. I'm going to click done. I'm going to click share. And now I've got anyone at Houston County of Board of Education. I'm going to copy this link. Now when I copy this link, I'm going to come up to the top and I'm going to say Control T for a new tab. And I'm going to right click, paste that URL for this slide. That's the cool thing about a lot of this Google stuff, is that it is web-based, cloud-based. So at the end of this URL, I have edit USP equals sharing. I'm going to take that part off and type in copy. Now when I take this link and I'm going to copy it, I'm going to paste this in the chat, share that document with you, that choice board with you, that template. Y'all can use it. You should get this screen. If you don't, try it over and over again, and again, we will share all this with y'all at the end. So you should get this make a copy. When you get this make a copy, you have your own now. So no other teacher would have an issue with sharing or anything like that. I know that a lot of you could really use this. I actually think Teaching and Learning may use some of this year. So that is something that could be super valuable for y'all. All right, so I'm gonna give you another 2 minutes to link something, link the slide to the words. I want you to try that out, slides in that presentation linking, and try that out, maybe add a picture, try something new, and y'all, 2 minutes. All right, I'm back, y'all. I want to know what you tried with that template. Please put that in the chat, and I'm going to kind of wait for that to come through. And I'm going to try to answer a couple of things because y'all were asking, how did I get that copy link again? So I'll show that one more time. So in a slide, and y'all, you can do this with Google Docs as well. So in a Google Slide deck, I'm going to come up here to the right-hand corner to click Share. All right, you need to make sure that you change the permissions where it says Get Link at the bottom. I'm going to change it. Yours will probably say Restricted at first. I'm going to click on the drop-down menu and click Houston County Board of Education. Or you can say anyone with a link. Okay, before you click Done, I want you to copy that link that you've set the permissions for it. I'm going to click Done. You're going to open a new tab, and you're going to paste that link that you want to share. At the very end, and I'll drop this in the chat, at the very end, I want you to delete this piece out. It's the last little bit. Everything after that last slash, I want you to delete. And I want you to type copy at the end of it. Now when I copy, I can share this link with anyone and they're going to make a copy, that button. I hope that answers that question. All right, another question that I want to kind of clear up. Y'all, I said turn in work here, and that probably wasn't the best terminology because if you're sharing this with kids in Google Classroom, they're still going to have to go to Google Classroom once they finish their work in here. Maybe it's the end of the week, they finish this work, and instead of them clicking on here and turning in the work, that's not going to send it to you. You got to go back into Google Classroom. They will have to go back into Google Classroom and click that turn in button that's up here in the top right hand corner or wherever, whatever screen they're on, it depends. All right, so maybe choose different words here instead of turn in. Maybe it should be upload. Ooh, upload work here. That would have been a better use of words, okay? So now they know that they're just uploading their work within this slide. They'll still have to go to Google Classroom to turn it in. All right, another idea, this has been a common question today, how can you get a timer in Google Slides? You got a couple ways. You could have an external link where they open it, but I kind of like the idea of having one right here on the spot. So this is my suggestion. Maybe my coworkers have a different one. I'm going to come in here and say, up to the top, I'm going to say Insert, and I'm going to say Video. And maybe I've approved a 2-minute timer, which I think I already have. Let me go grab that link. Here it is. I've got my URL on my other screen, and I'm going to click on By URL, and I'm going to paste it. This is something I've already approved for our county, 2-minute timer. And it's going to pull in that 2-minute timer. So maybe you want them to do some sort of timed practice or something. You just put a little video, and it doesn't have to be massive. You could resize it. And now you've got a cute little timer in there. Maybe you could pick a better one, but I'm going to autoplay when presenting, so that's a good way to add a timer for your kids. All right? So that's my suggestion on that one. All right, last thing, y'all, because I know that we got a little bit more to go after me. So I'm going to come over here and open a new tab. Again, I'm going to say slides.new and click Enter. And I'm going to choose a theme really quickly, and because I've already showed y'all that. And I'm going to come over here to change the type of slide that I want. I don't think I've showed y'all that, so a different layout. So in the upper left-hand corner, you've got the plus and the little arrow down. And maybe you want to have your kids come in here and collaborate with each other. I know Tiffany Caparelli shared a little bit about that with you. Maybe she did book clubs, maybe you're doing a research project, something with your kids that you want to use with them. So I'm actually looking. So maybe you type in, read this article first, then then state your opinion. So maybe you have an article that you link to, and my opinion is no. Or maybe you say my opinion is yes. So maybe you're doing a debate, something like that, and you may want to change the boxes. Again, y'all, I think I've showed this already in here, so I'll do it really quickly and change that line color. So you can do lots of fun things. And so Lynn, maybe Lynn is going to come into this, and I'm going to actually share this link with her really quickly. Maybe you want your kids to collaborate in here. So this would be something that you and Lynn, I send it to you in an email because that's the easiest way right now. Maybe you have your kids collaborating on a project, book club, whatever it is. You can have multiple kids in here typing at the same time. Maybe you have them, maybe you give them a number slide in here. So I'm gonna duplicate this slide since I already have it set up. I'll say Control D, Control D, Control D. That's on my keyboard. So I'm easily adding slides, okay? I can do that as many times. And I did not share that with her correctly. I'm gonna change that. Done. All right, Lynn, you should be able to get in there. So when you do this, when you create like a slide that you want your kids to collaborate on where they are all editing, when you put it into Google Classroom, you'll make sure that when you add it to an assignment that you select, I think it's all kids can edit. I can't remember the correct terminology. It's the middle option. Students can edit is what it says. So I know that Lynn is in here right now. I can tell that because her little pink circle with the L is in here. And now Lynn can come in here. She's actually up here on this first one. She's saying, I am here. And she can come in here. And this is a great way for you as teachers to collaborate or as kids. So you can do some really cool things in here. Shared writing, you can do, you know, the debate topic. Aw, thank you, Lynn. So that's the cool thing about slides is you can see your kids working together in here at the same time. So y'all, I want to know what was your favorite thing about Google Slides that you're gonna take and try. Go ahead and pop that in to the chat. I know we have a lot of questions, and I can't remember if I told y'all this at the beginning when we first started. If y'all do have questions that we don't get to, y'all can always email us at cis@hdbe.net. But please be patient. We've gotten a lot of emails today, so we'll catch up. So that's it on Google Slides. Y'all just let me know what was your favorite, and then we are going to switch over to Larry. He's going to teach you a little bit more about some forms, the advanced version. Thank y'all so much for participating.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody.
Oh gosh.
That's your. I gotta switch over. There we go. I've got a loose cable here, guys. I'm trying to get it. All right. Hopefully we are good now. That cable won't come loose anymore. Sorry about that. So welcome back, guys. We're going to start looking at some advanced things you can do with forms. Now I know with slides, Megan was showing you can go to slides.new to create a new one. You can do the same thing with forms by going to forms.new. But in my case, I'm already sitting here in my Google Drive. So I'm simply going to click New, go to More, and there's my Google Form. And I want to show you some cool things that you can do with Google Forms that are kind of more advanced features.
Larry, they're saying they can't hear you. Is there a way you can boost it?
All right, so again, that's New, More, Google Forms, and we will bring up a brand new form. And here we go. And guys, this really isn't part of advanced training, this first thing I'll show you, but our first question should always be, what is your name, right? Make them enter their name. So we started today talking about creating YouTube content. Of course, Megan Lynn showed you some uses of YouTube within slides. You can do the same thing here. So maybe one of the things, if you have a video on YouTube, there is a add video button right here, and you can add any YouTube video. And the easiest way, you get that URL. So let's just go see if I go out on YouTube. Let's find me a video real quick. Look, there's the live stream. I won't double link that, but maybe I want to send them to this chill out music because my kids need to chill out. I can paste it in here. I can select, and now it becomes part of this quiz. So I could have them watch the video, and then below it, and I'm just going to do one, I won't sit here and type out a whole bunch of questions. I can have them answer this question. Now, at this point, so I can say, what is your option 1, option 2, option 3. I could type out whatever their choices are. And now, if this is going to be an actual quiz, I need to be sure and go to Settings and turn on Quiz, right? Now, if you start this within Google Classroom and you add a quiz assignment, it will automatically be turned on. But since I'm just in Forms, I have to turn on that it is a quiz. So now I can do my answer key and say, maybe option 2 is the correct answer to that one. And let's also give it, it's worth 10 points. So super easy to put videos in here. So what would this look like? Click little eyeball. The kid could click on the video, they could watch it, they click on YouTube so they can make it full screen, and they can answer it and submit. Pretty simple, easy, straightforward at this point. So all that YouTube content, you can create videos and then take those and embed them into these quizzes. That way you can actually check and be sure and ask questions to ensure that students are actually watching them. Now, the next thing I want to show you, and this kind of piggybacks off of something Megan already showed you. How do we use PDFs in here? Maybe I already have a worksheet or a quiz I want to use. I'm going to show you this two ways. I'm going to show you on a Windows computer, and I'm going to show you on a Chromebook here in just a second. So what we'll do here is I will, on my Windows computer, here we go. I've got this document right here. Let's take it back to one full page. And so maybe I want to get this reading passage and these 3 questions as a set of questions into that document. On Windows, you click on the Start menu and you look for Snip. So there's the snipping tool. And I'll be sure I do rectangular, and we will highlight it, let go of the button. Here's our image. I will save this to my desktop. Sure, I'm on desktop. So it's called Capture, Save. And now that I've done that, I can go back to my form, and the next thing I want to add is not a question, but I want to add an image. So I'll say Upload, go to my desktop, and there's Capture. Let's see, I accidentally inserted extra questions. So there is the reading passage and the questions. And so for the students to be able to answer these questions, oops, I'll put it above, let's drag that down. All I would simply do is put, so this is question 1. And then there's A, B, C, D, right? So I'll say A, B, C, D. So there's question 1, and I'll go ahead and mark the answer key. We'll pretend like it's B. So this one is set up. We need 2 more questions. Duplicate it, rename this to question 2. Be sure you adjust that answer key. And then here is question 3. So we can very easily take a PDF, take a screenshot and upload it in here, and then just give them a spot to answer the questions below. So this is all great if you're on a Windows machine, but what if you're on one of those district Chromebooks? So let me let me switch over to a Chromebook real quick. So Chromebook screen, here we go, and I'm going to open up this same quiz that we're working on. So here we go. Here I am on my Chromebook. Here's the same quiz. I want to see how do we do that screenshot on a Chromebook versus what we just did on the Windows machine. So let's go open up that same PDF. Here it is. And instead of getting that passage this time, let's go get us a math example. Maybe I've got some math problems I want them to answer. Here we go. So I want them to answer problems 1 through 9. So on a Chromebook, in order to take that screenshot, it is the Control, Shift, and Windows key. Now the Windows key on a Chromebook is different than the Windows key on a Windows machine. The Windows key on a Chromebook is directly above the 6 key. So Control, Shift, the Windows key. You see my screen went black and I've got my little crosshairs. I can take that picture and it's already saved for me. It says screenshot taken, show in folder. So you can click there just to see where it's saved. But so it's in my drive and it literally just dumped it straight there into my Google Drive. So now that's there, let's go back to my Google Drive. Let's import another photo. So add image. And here's what's really cool about this. I really don't have to go searching for it because it is literally the last thing I did. I'm going to go to Google Drive. I'm going to click on recent and it's going to be the first item. So here it is, the one I just took. Insert. So now that I've inserted this picture, I'm going to do question 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, give them A, B, C, D, and mark those spots just to give them a place to submit their answers. So they read right here and then scroll down. Now, what's the problem with this? Let's go into view mode and maybe this will, or preview mode, maybe you'll see. They're going to be doing this number, right? So here, they'll read this and then have to scroll down and then read this, particularly with 9 of them. And then could you imagine scrolling back and forth between 9 questions below? So you may only want to take a snippet of maybe 2 or 3 questions at a time. And another thing you can do is to make use of sections. So sections are a really, really cool feature here. What we can do with sections, so wherever you want to start a new section, you click just above it. So maybe the first page, I only want them to have their name. So they'll say add section. So section 2 will be the video. If you want there to be a title on that page, you put it right here. If you don't, you just delete it out and then nothing will display. So on this one, I'll call this section title just so y'all can see it when we go to preview. Then we want this problem to start a new section. Oh, and I put it in the wrong spot, guys. I put it after. So let's just delete this real quick. Oh, undo. Undo. Let's just do that this quicker way. So we want a new section after the question, so new section. This one, I don't want it to display a title, so I just delete out whatever text is there. And then we want a new section for the math part as well. So we click just above it, new section, and we'll call this the math section. Now, if you're using section, one really good practice to do, in your settings, go to presentation and turn on show progress bar. This way that the student knows how many pages they have left. So hit save. Let's look at how much better this quiz looks just by adding those sections. So notice page 1 is just my name, and I'm on page 1 of 4. Page 2 is to watch the video and answer this one question. Page 3 is just this PDF and its 3 questions, so I only have to scroll back up through 3 questions to see this. And then page 4, of course, would be this last one, and if I had the questions on there, they would be right there. Now, I'm showing you sections not really to show you that feature. There are some really advanced things you can do with sections, and I want to talk about 2 examples in particular. One of them, and I think a lot of us are familiar with them, are the choose your own adventure style stories, right? So let me switch back over to my desktop real quick. And I'm going to, I minimized what I needed, guys. Let me go back in here, and I'm actually going to pull up one that I've already started on. So when you're doing this, So you can see my first question I said is, which way do you want to go? North, south, east, or west? And what's really cool is you can click on these little 3 dots and choose go to section based on answer when you do a multiple choice. And so notice I've got more sections below, so there's a north section, a south, an east, and a west. I simply say if they choose the answer north, it needs to go straight to this section of questions. If they choose the answer south, it's going to skip the north and go straight to the south questions. If they choose east, it'll go to the east, west, it'll go to the west. So if they choose north, they'll get this question right here. And then when they finish this question, notice these answer choices don't go anywhere. What would I do if I wanted them to go somewhere? Click the 3 dots, go to section based on answer. If I just wanted to skip the other directions, right beneath the section, you can choose where you want them to go. So I can say, oh, just go to section 6. Or I can say, just go ahead and submit the form if that's a dead end. Because maybe if they go east, maybe I want this to be where, you know, in the choose your own adventure story, their character dies. So maybe this will just be go straight to submit form if they choose east. So you can kind of customize each of these, and within each of these sections, you can give them choices of where they can go and just build up and build up and build up that complexity. It's a really cool way to build these, you know, choose your own adventure type stories. Another way to use this same feature is if you're trying to collect information from parents. One of your questions could be, do you need to update your parent contact info in Infinite Campus? If they say no, it could skip any questions about that. But if they say yes, it could take them to a section that says, all right, what is your current email address? What is your current phone number? What is your current address? And you could ask those questions. So it only asks them the questions that they need. So I love that feature. Now another way to use this, and let's just go to form new, this is a new one. Hopefully everyone is familiar, now I'm typing in the wrong spot, with breakout boxes. You can go and purchase these and spend a lot of money and buying physical ones, but you can make these ones for free. So here's how this works. Of course, we're always going to start with the answer, asking their name. Then we're going to give them their first clue, and you know, when you give them a clue that they need to figure out, and their answer to that clue unlocks the first lock. So we're going to keep this simple. You know, what is 2 plus 2? And we're going to make this a short answer. So here's how we make this a password. Click the 3 dots, and there's this thing called response validation. So again, 3 dots, response validation. It is a short answer question. Change this from number to text. Change this from contains to, where is matches? Why is matches missing? Oh, sorry, it's regular expression, not text, guys, my mistake. Don't do text, do regular expression. Now we get the matches option. In this pattern field, this is where you will put the answer. And if they get it wrong, you can give them a message. So, you know, please try again. So they won't be able to move on until they get this question right. So now let's add a new section. So this would be lock 2, right? And let's add them a question. And maybe this time it is, what is the name of our county? So again, we're going to go to short answer, 3 dots, response validation, regular expression, matches, type in Houston, and then please see a map if they get it wrong, right? So we could do that. So you just go on and fill these out and making all your locks. So a cool thing to do here, again, let's go up to the settings, go to presentation, and let them see the progress bar so they know how many locks they have left, but also maybe give them a big congrats message at the end. And I'll right click and put in an emoji of like some fireworks and a balloon and confetti, all that good stuff, right? So how would a student complete this? Let's preview this. So put in their name, and what is 2 plus 2? So let's say they think it's 3, hit next. It will not let me move on until I enter the number 4. Now it takes me. So what is the name of our county? Hit submit. Now why is that incorrect? The correct answer has a capital H, right? it's a proper name. So I want to be sure and put a capital H there, hit submit, and now I see congrats breakout box. So a really cool way to make these forms and quizzes more fun than just a straight up, quiz situation. You can do breakouts easily. You can do choose your own adventures with branching, all kinds of cool things. All right, from that, guys, I'm going to transition into Zoom and go over Zoom real quick before handing over to Mike with some really cool stuff. So let's talk briefly about Zoom. Our district is going to be using Zoom this year. And let's go into, it probably is not there yet, but what will be getting added in your single sign-on portal is the Zoom application. So this is different from where it was in the spring. Now it's going to be right here. So you click on Zoom, and it should log you right into Zoom. So log in. And I'm just going to show you a few features and show you some resources for this as well, because I think what Mike has is way more fun than Zoom, although Zoom is very useful. So you have your account. You'll be able to host up to 300 people. You've got plenty of time, so don't be limited to 30 minutes or anything like that. But what's important is that you go to your settings and you go through these options to set them appropriately. For example, you want waiting room turned on. You want password turned on. So you'll need to go through these. If you want to be able to use the whiteboard feature, you want to turn that on. So check this out. I'm going to hit the Control and F key on my keyboard so that I can search for whiteboard. Here it is, and mine is turned on, so I'm good. I have the whiteboard feature. If yours is turned off, you will need to turn it on. So once you've done that, get all your settings set, and let me show you this real quick. Let's go to and Megan will be sharing this again at the very end. On our resource site, we have a video right here on the main page under Zoom. How to change settings for safe and secure meetings. Every one of the recommended settings are right there in that video, so you can follow along and ensure that your settings match what the district recommends. So right there for you. So with the Zoom Online, you can go to meetings and you can schedule a meeting simply by clicking there and filling it out. Don't do recurring meetings because we want a new link every time. Be sure you put a passcode, generate a new meeting ID automatically. Don't let people join before you. Do you want them muted upon entry or not? With smaller kids, this may be a bad idea because then you got to be sure they know how to unmute themselves. But that's, you know your students. Do not record the meeting. Students are part of this, so do not record it. And then simply hit save, and that will save that meeting. So I'll go back. You can see here's where I did one earlier, so any scheduled meetings will be right here. And of course, all of you who have been on Zoom meetings before know whenever you start or join a meeting, it's going to pop up with, hey, do you want to open the meeting app? That's actually the way I like to go in. So on my computer, I'll go to the Start menu and search for Zoom, and right there is Start Zoom, and I'm going to open up the app. And I'm going to open up Zoom real quick here and show you. So I'm going to go to New Meeting. And here we go, we're in Zoom. Now, because I'm doing this training, I'm not going to do my audio join, so I'm just going to leave that disconnected. And I want to show you a few things here. If you have a webcam, you start video and that will show you on the webcam. Click on participants. This is where you can admit people from the waiting room, you can remove people, you can mute them, things of that nature. There's also the chat window that you can use, or you can turn it off. Again, you can delete comments if needed, whatever you may need. And really what's probably important for you is this share screen button. So when I hit share screen, there's a variety of things I get. First of all, note there's, because my whiteboard was turned on, there's the whiteboard I can click on and share a whiteboard with my students so they can see. As long as you have an iPhone or an iPad on the same wireless network, you can actually display your phone through your Zoom meeting through that right there. Under Advanced, if you have one of the newer document cameras, you can click right there and display it. So if you have one of the older gray, kind of boxy smart document cameras, you're not going to be able to display it through that. You're going to need to open up the ImageMate software on your computer, and if you don't have that, simply put in a work order and you can get it. Again, it's called ImageMate, and you can display it through that right there. Of course, the main thing here is that if you have something else you want to display, simply select your screen. So I'll hit share, and so maybe I want to share the My Viewboard software. So now I can open up my Viewboard and my students would be able to see this. Or I could open up a website and show them a website. So you can share anything that's on your desktop, which means I could open up the document camera on my computer and they would be able to see it if I'm sharing my desktop. The one thing to note, and I don't know if anyone caught this when I went to share the screen, is at the bottom there's an option that says share computer sound. So if you're playing anything with audio, please be sure you check that box so the students will be able to hear it. They'll be able to hear your voice without checking that, but if you have something on your computer with audio, you need to be sure and click that box right there so that they can hear it.
Be careful when uploading to YouTube.
Yeah, and also, I wouldn't say play anything off YouTube. Be careful with that. Copyright materials, always be wary. And again, guys, when you're doing these Zoom meetings, this is not what you're using to record, so you shouldn't be uploading this to YouTube or anything like that. All right, so that's kind of my short and quick on Zoom, so we can get to some really cool stuff that I think y'all are going to like here in just a second. Just remember, the setting or the icon will be coming to your single sign-on. It'll look like this. And you'll be able to set all your settings, and we have resources on our website to how to do some individual things, and we will be adding more to it. So at this time, I'm going to pass it on over to Mike Foss, and he's got some really cool things to show you.
All right, thank you very much, Larry and Lynn and Kristen and Megan, for everything you've done so far. I'm going to take a look, or we're going to take a look at virtual field trips, and we're going to use Google Earth to do that. So some of y'all might be familiar with Google Earth, some not. I think it's a pretty cool little tool. So the way we're going to access Google Earth is I've got my browser open, Chrome, and I'm going to go to the waffle. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to scroll down here to Google Earth. I'm going to click here. You're on a delay, aren't you? All right, I'm understanding there might be some sort of display issue here that Google Earth is not showing up for my computer. Yeah, just hold on 1 second. We're going to get this little streaming issue resolved. And I will start over.
You're on.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and just start over because I think we lost my video connection. So I'm here on Google, google.com. I'm logged in with my school email address and password.
Hold on.
I'm going to go to my waffle here. All right, let's see if that audio is working now. I think we got it all working. I think we got audio. I think we got video. All right, this is awesome. So hopefully we're looking here. I'm on google.com, and I'm just starting over again so we can kind of go from scratch. I am logged in using my school email address and my password. Now, if I go to the waffle, I can click here. One of my options is Google Earth. So I'm going to click here on Google Earth, and it's going to launch Google Earth. So let's just give it a second or two for it to load up. And that does look like planet Earth to me. So we're ready to go here. You've got a couple of options along the side here. I'm going to take you through these and just kind of show you some of the things that you can have there. The very first one is this little search icon here. So if I click search, I can type in a location. And this would be the Louvre Museum. So I'm going to click here, and it's going to fly me on in. And it takes me to that location. So I am here. I'm going to actually kind of zoom in and out on this. The spinning will stop eventually. That kind of drives me crazy. I'm going to click on it a little bit, click on it, zoom in a little bit, and you can see that you have, you're here at the Louvre. So I can scroll in, I can zoom in. There's other things that you can do here with these icons down here in the bottom right-hand corner. Your plus and minus, going to zoom out. You got 2D, 3D look. The cool thing I like is this little fella here. The peg person is what I'm going to call him. And what I'm going to do is left click and hold and drag this little person. And when I do that, you give it a second or two, you're going to see locations light up in blue. So you've got blue lines, you've got blue dots all over the place. Well, the blue lines is kind of like your street view, something that Google did. Your blue dots are 360-degree photos submitted by other people. So I'm going to go to one of these. I'm just going to click on it, land on this little dot here. And when I do that and I release the mouse, it's going to let me zoom into that location as if I'm actually standing there. And there's even people around me. So I'm inside this courtyard now. So I can left click, drag my screen around, take a look at this area outside. I can go up and down, I can zoom in and out. I've got all kinds of different little options here to give me a view of what this location actually looks like. Now I'm going to come back out of here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this little peg man or peg person again. It's going to pop me out again. So here I am, I'm outside now, looking down, kind of a bird's eye view. I'm going to click on my little peg person again. So I'm going to go here, drag them out. Whoa, it's a lot of blue. Now notice the little blue dots on top of the roofs. If I go to one of those, it's not going to put you on the roof. It's going to put you inside the building. Give that a second. It's going to zoom you in. And there you are. You're actually inside this museum. These little arrows here you can click on, kind of move around a little bit. So I can zoom in, zoom out, see all different kind of works of art, see the ceiling, all kinds of things that you can do here on Google Earth. So it's not just a map. There's actually other information in there that you can use. So Google Earth, pretty cool, neat things that you can do here. One of the other options, or some other options that you see here, is this other icon called Voyager. Now I'm going to click on Voyager, and there's going to be some pre-made Earth tours here. So I'm going to click on Education, but they have other things that you can look at here. I'm going to click on Education. I'm going to scroll down. Some stuff about geometry, the Underground Railroad, various other things here, and they're all really pretty cool to take a look at. And one of the ones I found earlier I thought was neat was Lewis and Clark. So if I click here, this is one that was actually made by PBS and furnished, and it kind of show you how much information is in these tours. PBS makes this one. It's almost like I don't want to say PowerPoint, but since we're talking about Google, a Google slideshow of information, and it's already pre-made. So here's the opening screen. I can click Discover, and when it does that, it starts me on my little journey. with locations on Google Earth. I still have all my options here. I can look at it in 2D, 3D. I could go to my street view with my little peg person. And they've also got a YouTube video embedded in this. So I can click here. Here is the YouTube video. Just going to close that out. I have a total of 12 slides here. So I can click. It takes me to their next location or to a location on their journey. It's got little pictures up here. It's got information. So I could scroll through the pictures up here that they provided. And again, I could go along here, click on another one, and this is all pre-made here. So it's a nice little presentation that's already made. Again, it's got another YouTube video here that you could use. Of course, you want to preview everything that you could access and actually display. So I think that's kind of neat to be able to do all that. And it's already made for you. Now, the little dice one here, which is the next one, is the little Feeling Lucky, which what it does is it's going to take you somewhere on the globe. In this case, it says the Yellowstone River. Okay, so it takes me there. I could explore that a little bit more if I wanted to. Now, this one here, this little icon is called Projects. What Projects allows you to do is make your own Voyager-like presentation. So if I click on Project, I can create a new project. Now, the best thing about what I'm about to show you is students can do this too. So when I show you how to create this project, it's not just for teachers to do. Have your students do this as well. So I'm just going to click on New Project, Create New Project. I could give it a title. Call it my advanced project. And then you have all these other little options down here. New feature. So I could go here and say, well, I want a full screen slide like the PBS Lewis and Clark one. That would make that slide. Or I could just add a place. So I could click Add a Place. I could search, maybe I want to put this in there, take me back to the Louvre. I could go here and I could add that to my project. So I would just click here. I can add it to my project. And what's cool about this is I can even customize these information boxes. I don't have to use these boxes. So when I go here, I can edit that and I can choose to turn on the information box or not. For example, here, I can replace it. There's that information. I just click replace. Now I can put in my own information there so students could type in their own information and so on. So that's projects. Love to see some kids make some. I know I kind of went kind of fast on that, but I will say that these tutorials down here on projects is actually pretty good. I mean, they are wonderful tutorials that you can use on there. And when you click present, I will show you that, it's just like the ones from PBS. So students would click present. There's a way to add collaborators and share the links. So students would turn in their links to their projects. You can add 2 or 3 kids, working on the same project at the same time. It's a really cool alternative to just making a PowerPoint or something like that. It's just a little more interactivity. Now, one of the other things I want to show is Google Arts and Culture. So this is a site called, the actual website is artsandculture.google.com. You can search for things here, other places you can look for. Here's 5 art museums you can explore. All kinds of cool things here, different puzzles, all kinds of stuff that you can go in and explore on your own, and I'm sure you'll find something that you could really use in here. There's even pictures that you can use with your presentations and things like that. I think it's kind of neat. Now, one thing I do want to show you before I leave out of here, I know I only have a couple of minutes, but let's see, I want to go to, let me click here, Google Maps. I'm going to click on Google Maps, and just about everybody's familiar with some sort of maps, right? Very similar to Google Earth. You do have a little peg man you can drag around. You can search for places. You can search for intersections of streets and things like that. I'm going to choose just Warner Robins High School right now because I want to show you something that's kind of neat in there. So here's Warner Robins High School. I'm going to take my little peg man, peg person, if you will, and I'm going to take that person, I'm going to drop them right there at that major intersection there by Warner Robins High School. And flies me down to the street. So here I am, this is my street view. Of course, got C.B. Watson, I got Warner Robins High School, I've got all this stuff, really neat things. One thing that you might notice on some of these locations is a little clock next to Street View. Click on that little drop down. This is actually a little time machine. Now, some locations have more of a timeline than other places. What I'm looking at right now is August 2019. I can move my little dot here to 2012, click on it now. I can go back 7 years ago and look at that same intersection. There's no gym, haven't even started on the gym, and C.B. Watson is just now being built. So a lot of your intersections you can go back, and again, they might give you 3 or 4 different timelines. Really depends upon the number of times a little Google vehicle's gone around and snapped photos. But it's really cool to be able to do that. I'm going to jump out of Google Maps real quick. And one of the other things that you can do, I'm going to start scrolling out, just zooming out. Zoom, 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 zoom. We're getting out of here. And let's see. Oh, I know there's something on here to find another location. I'm going to click on satellite. And when I click on satellite and I zoom out, notice that it starts giving me planets. So I can look at the moon. And it shows me the surface of the moon. I can, if I'm able to, I can zoom in and look at different things. I can click on the International Space Station and look. So it kind of gives me a view of what you'd see in the International Space Station. I don't know why they put Street View on there. Be a heck of a street view, wouldn't it? But I'm going to expand that out a little bit. Whoops. Again, I can click, just bring up my locations. I can pull those up and start seeing different planets and things like that. So it's pretty cool when you're able to do that and see all these different things. There they are again. Click on Mars, and again, you can see all this stuff. Pretty neat, you know? So I hope you enjoy that. A lot of things that you can do here, Google Arts and Culture, Google Earth, Google Maps, all kinds of neat stuff. And of course, we're always there to help you at CIS@hcbe.net. And I believe we're going to close this out. Megan's going to give you a little more information. Let me close out my screen.
It's me again, y'all. First of all, I think we all want to say thank you for hanging in here for 2 hours with us. We know it was a ton of content, but go ahead and let us know in the chat what was your favorite thing today. I mean, we've covered slides, we've covered YouTube, advanced forms, Zoom, virtual field trips. Let us know what was your favorite. We will be doing this training again tomorrow. We really hope that this was worth your time. On my screen right now, while y'all are popping that in the chat, on my screen right now, I do think Lynn dropped this link in the chat earlier, but this HyperDocs website has so many cool things on here. A lot of y'all were asking for templates or copies of some stuff. Y'all, you can come in here and look at templates or samples, and it's done by, you know, subject area, the elementary level, whatever you want, and it's got all these links to some really cool things where you can go and get your own copies, make them your own. Don't try to reinvent the wheel sometimes. Use what's out there and just make it yours. So I did want to share that. I know Lynn dropped that in the chat earlier. Another resource that I want to share with you, anytime that you have a question about any part of the Google Suite, y'all, the support.google.com website is incredibly helpful. It will take you step by step through different questions you may have. So I'm just going to come down here to Google Drive. It's something we've gone over today at some point. And let's say that you want to know more about accessibility features. You'll click on that. You could look at step by step how to do certain things. You could even, and let me go back a couple, let me go to a different one, store files in Google Drive, and let's say I want to download a file. It'll show you how to do this on a computer, an Android device, or an iPhone and iPad. Super helpful, especially when we're dealing with so many different devices out there. And you can click through that as you need it. And then the last resource that I wanted to show y'all is our digital training resource site. Y'all, we have been building this since March. And we are trying to put a ton of stuff on here. Larry has already showed you the Zoom help section, parent resources, different things like that. This is really going to be for y'all. But the big one is up here at the top. We do have different tabs. We have an FAQ. These are commonly asked questions that we've been getting through emails throughout, since COVID has happened. And then the big one is recording. So at some point, once we finish our trainings on Friday, your link for this training will be placed here, and it will also be emailed to you. So y'all just be on the lookout for that. Know that that's there. And we do have one more thing that we are going to ask y'all to participate in. Larry's going to pop up the feedback, the survey that we're hoping you'll take the time to fill out and give us some information. Let us know how we did. Let us know what maybe you need more support on, or maybe something that you think you might need to see again, because I don't think we're going to stop these virtual trainings anytime soon. So hope you like our voices. Hope you like our voices. Larry's trying to tell me something. Oh yeah, so if you get a permission error on the training feedback form, you may be logged in as a personal account, especially if you're on a mobile device. So be sure you log out of that and then log in as Houston County. You will get an error if you do see that. So y'all, thank you so much. We'll stay on and try to answer some of the chat just for the next couple minutes, and then we will hopefully see y'all soon, and hope you have a great school year. Oh, yes, we will train you. Let's see. I think Larry's going to drop, I think my mic is still on. Y'all, Larry's going to drop the feedback in the training feedback form in the chat. He just did that. So there you go. Y'all let us know. Y'all are more than welcome.